Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video I'm going to break down how to build Leonardo in Raid Shadow Legends. I've just got mine. I've got the 5-star soul as well. I have like no shards left apart from some primals. After pulling everything for the path, you can see all the videos on the Swordmaster path that came out yesterday. But today I'm going to talk about how to build your shiny new Leonardo if you've been lucky enough to get him, if you've been saving up and you finally got him. Let's see what we can do with him. This is the champion infographic we put out on hellhades.com for Leonardo. You can find it on his champion page on the website. There will also be a champion spotlight coming out today, which will cover a lot of the stuff I'm talking about in this video, but it's a written guide, so you can just reference it back and pick the part you want. And yeah, it breaks down like everything in detail, pretty much. But yeah, let's take a look at him. First, talking briefly about his skills. One of the things that makes Leo really good, even without other turtles, he is a damage dealer with a ton of survivability. So he has an unkillable buff on himself on a 3-turn. Increased defense buff, he is a defense scaling damage dealer. So that is effectively a 60% damage boost for him. It's just nice for building your team that he can provide it for himself, which is really strong. And then he gets counterattack as well. His A1 is stronger when counterattacking. So yeah, cool. Nice survivability there, that unkillable. But then even more, with no cooldown, he gets Stone Skin for 1 turn whenever his HP drops below 50%. Now, once per skill, per enemy skill. But still, this can trigger like multiple times if you meet the criteria. Now, this is a little deceptive. Leo is very vulnerable, and that's going to be important when we build him. You can one-shot Leo. Okay? So if you bring him from whatever, 100%, 80%, it doesn't matter, to 0, if you kill him in a single hit, he just dies. He is just gone. This will only trigger if he is above 0%, but below 50%. So you have to still be alive for this to work. And that does actually matter quite a bit when it comes to building turtle teams. There's a similar thing happening with the 3 turtle allies as well, which again raises a big question. I think particularly how we build Raphael and Donatello. He activates this skill when an ally's HP drops below 50%. Again, this is not quite right, actually. It only triggers if their HP is below 50, but above 0. So if they die, if they just get killed, this doesn't happen. So that's very important. But yeah, anyway, you get the gist. He's very defensive. He has unkillable on himself for 2 turns. Every 3 turns, he's getting Stone Skin regularly. He's a very difficult damage dealer to kill. And then his A3, this is the big damage move. It's an AoE attack, 5% more damage for every buff on all allies and all enemies. So let's say you're in an arena fight, there's 4 allies, 4 enemies. Let's say everyone has 5 buffs each. So 5 times 8. It's 40 times 5. You're looking at a 200% damage boost. So this scaling, it's not as strong as a Taurus, but it's pretty crazy and does have a huge impact. And obviously, if you're looking at something like Hydra, where you've got even more allies that can scale even higher, removes all buffs if he kills an enemy, cannot be resisted. He can get polymorphed because of this, because it's buff removal. But yeah, there we go. This hits 1 and 2 turtles makes it hit really hard, and then the 3 turtles is where it's going to start going really crazy. His A1 is decent, hits a good bit harder the more buffs he has, but most of his damage, most of the oomph is coming for this, but this is just a sort of a constant threat that he's sort of slowly wearing down your team, but it's not crazy damage. Turtles together is crazy damage. I think according to the calculations on the website, it is the 4th hardest hitting move. Let me bring that up actually. I think it's the 4th hardest hitting move in Arena in the game. Yeah, here we go. So we're on hellhades.com here. Obviously, I write for hellhades.com, but yeah, as you can see, in late to end game content, it's number 1. In arena content, it's number 4. Depending on what multipliers you hit. In fact, I can give you even more info. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so we got a huge spreadsheet here. Big shout out to M. Fabian. He's a community member. You might know him from doing lots of Hydra stuff. You can see him on certainly my Discord. I'm sure on lots of other Discords, doing loads of cool stuff in the game. He threw together this sheet for me, but this is just how Leo's damage scales up with the different turtles. And you can see there's some assumptions in here. Now, this stuff is not too important. The importance is really how it's going to scale up over time. So you're going to be doing again, we don't worry too much about the damage number because you might not have this exact gear. But in terms of the scaling, it starts off 132,000. We add in one turtle up to 190. And when we add in a second turtle, it jumps up like crazy to 456. What the heck's going on there? That is the two turtle bonus if he's at 50% HP. Because you're getting an additional 15% ignore defense from the extra turtle up here. But then if he is at 50% HP, which is the assumption that we're making here, that he's missing 50%, it's going to give him 50% more damage on the A3. And 50% more damage is a lot of damage. You end up with 456. And then with 3 turtles, you're up to 562. Again, this is with him having 50% missing HP, and he's in obviously extremely good gear for these exact numbers, like 8,000 defense, 380 crit damage, better than what I can do, increased defense, yes, etc. We're not going to, don't worry too much about the actual damage number, but it's just the proportionate scaling as we go. And yeah, you can see, compared to with the one turtle ally with 132 up to 562, like you can reasonably expect when you've got the full 3 turtles and your Leo starts dropping lower on life for that 2 turtle passive, like you could pretty consistently actually be hitting about 4 times harder than a default Leo. But even a default Leo, he's still hitting really hard. I wouldn't be too worried. He still will hit really hard. But again, just the scaling is nuts. And it's when this starts firing off multiple times in a fight, it can be very difficult for enemies to deal with. If you don't build a team specifically to deal with the 4 turtles, you can very easily find you trigger this, and Leo just starts deleting your entire team. It can be pretty brutal. And this is really going to tie into how we're going to build him and all the other turtles. So let's go into the build. For the gear, I've gone for 4-piece lethal, 4-piece stone skin. This is going to be the most standard, most typical build. You can replace lethal with savage or instinct, maybe swift parry. All of those are a good bit worse. You're trying to get as much ignore defense as possible from your 4-piece set. Why are we going for the 4-piece set? It's so that we can combine it with another 4-piece set that will give him a strong defensive benefit. We really want Leonardo to stay alive so that he can, well, just be spamming out these A3s and doing crazy damage. So we want some survivability. Stone Skin, you guys know about Stone Skin. It's just an incredible survivability at the start of the fight. I do think 4-piece Feral, 4-piece Feral could be cool as well, which will give you block debuffs. That's pretty interesting too. It will protect him from bombs, which is otherwise, I think, a really huge weakness for the turtle teams. Protecting from bombs is interesting for sure. Another option would be reaction. So here we go. If you throw on some reaction, each reaction accessory, you've got a 25% chance to turn crits into normal hits before you've taken your first turn in arena. So it will give him that chance to survive. And if he survives, if he goes below 50% HP but doesn't die, bam, he gets Stone Skin for free. And you're also potentially powering up his A3 and firing off potentially even a free A3, you might be pretty happy. So I think reaction is really strong as well. I'd be leaning towards at least 2 pieces of reaction to feel comfortable. Getting 3 pieces is amazing, but that's very, very hard to do. And with reaction, you could look to go for 6-piece Merciless instead, which will give you a lot more damage, but not quite as much survivability as the 4-piece Stone Skin would give you. So generally speaking, that's what we're looking at in terms of the sets. Oh, by the way, if you are building them for PvE, so for clan bosses, probably Merciless combined with Zeal is going to be, broadly speaking, the best thing that you're going to be able to do. The 2-piece set that's just going to give you the most damage. So there you go. They beat, broadly speaking, what I'd be thinking of. For the stats, something like this, we're going to just try stack crit rate to 100%, loads of crit damage, loads of defense percent, and a bit of speed as well. Depends where you are in the game for speed. If you're early game, you know, probably 170 speed. By the time you're mid game, I'd probably be going for about 200. And then late game to end game, 250 to potentially even as high as 300. Those sort of ranges. It's going to depend a little bit what team you're running him in. If you're running him in a full turtle team, you could maybe look at doing defense percent boots instead of speed, going a bit slower and relying on his free attacks here to do the heavy lifting. If you're not running him in the 3 turtle team, he does need to take turns to actually use his A3. That's where that speed becomes more important, and you'd be building him more like a typical nuker. So like for me on an end game account, I'm really looking at, 270 to 300 speed on my nukers if I can, is what I'm trying to go for, and I fight enemies with even higher than that. So yeah, but it depends where you are in the game. Your ascensions are basically going to match as well. You're looking for crit damage. I think I've got the wrong one here, but I can't change it right now. I've got no glyphs either, but defense percent here, defense or speed, all the same stuff. I don't typically, by the way, put the ascension specifically on this graphic. Initially, I did. I had like a section for the ascensions as well. And then I said, hey, the ascensions are just always the same. Pretty much always the same as the base stats. So what's the point? You guys get the gist. But yeah, this is roughly what we're looking for in terms of gearing for him. Now, when it comes to relics, I think his best relic, I've got the wrong gems on this because, let me see here. I've got 66 Starstone left after the Chimera reset. I managed to switch a few relics onto the turtles, but I was quite limited because I could rant about Starstone. We'll save that for another video. I'll spare you the Starstone rant. But for relics, few different options here. I think Wand of Submission is the best one, generally speaking. This is going to be reflecting crowd control back at your enemies. And for Arena, that is one of Leo's big weaknesses, and it makes him so strong. Think about him sort of like a Nice and sort of like an Empress as well. They've got incredible, like very much like Nice, incredible defensive passives that make it super difficult to kill him. But he's very vulnerable to Armands coming in and just going, I polymorph you. Bit of a weakness. Wand of Submission really helps you fight back, and it fights back against being stunned and fear, all the rest. Really, really strong. Not really a surprise. It's sort of, you know, absolute S tier relic for Arena on basically every champion in the game. So I think it's the best option overall for Leo as well, because I think he's particularly good for Arena. So this is what I would go for. Other options that are interesting, highlighted the Stormcaller's kind of interesting. This one is giving you loads of damage, and the Stormcall buff whenever you land a crit, and because Leo's firing off so many attacks, the Stormcall buff is basically going to give you bonus damage, and then when it's maxed out, when you've got, I think, 5 stacks, you'll do a stun on your next attack as well. And because Leo is firing off so many A1 counterattacks for crits, so he's firing off so many A3s with the Turtle team for AoE crits, he'll stack this very quickly, and it turns him into sort of a stun machine. Makes him even more vulnerable to polymorph in Arena, so there's a big risk, but it will up his damage, his crowd control. It's pretty crazy. Very strong for wave-based content like Faction Wars and stuff like that. So that's a great option. I think a nice budget option, Gilded Dragonstone. Get defense whenever you receive damage. So cool, you know, he's going to be quite tanky. You're going to be taking hits with the Turtle team. It will build up his defense, makes him a bit tankier, and ups his damage as well. You get up to 20%. You probably wouldn't be leveling this up too high, but it is a great budget option for him because it's a standard relic. The Malefic Talon is a good budget option for him as well. What other stuff? I think, you know, Aspect of Seroth is a maybe to just skip out some lethal damage. That's a possibility, but I would be leaning more towards the wand. What else was there? Did I highlight anything else here? Of course, the Cat's Gaze. So for PvE, of course, the Cat's Gaze. More ignore defense is basically the most consistent and great damage boost you can get for most content. This will give him just huge amounts of extra consistent damage. Incredibly strong for damage. I feel like for Arena, he's going to do enough damage anyway. So this isn't too important. But for example, if you're running him just mostly for dungeons or clan bosses or whatever, Cat's Gaze would be better than a Wand of Submission, whereas Wand, I think, is much better for Arena. And also, you can't get Cat's Gaze anymore. There's some other interesting potential ones here, of course. There's lots of things you can maybe run, but those would be the main ones that I would highlight for him as being particularly good. For the gemstones, so let's say you're doing a Wand of Submission just quickly enough. For the gemstones, for the circle, I'd be going for the Bloodthirsty Prowess. When he kills an enemy, more damage. I'd probably be getting him the Ignore Defense is less effective. For more budget options, Foe Killer is really good. More damage against full HP enemies. Critical Bolster is not bad. Get some more defense. That's pretty cool. And then you can never go wrong with Invigorated. It's pretty great as well. So lots of good options there for PvE. Boss layer boss layer for clan bosses, things like that. For your triangles, Sharpened Riposte is one that absolutely has to be called out. You cannot fit that into a Wand of Submission, but you could fit that into a Stormcaller. More damage when counterattacking, so that is very strong. Obviously, it's going to make his counterattacks monstrously good, so that is a spicy build. I don't have a single mythical triangle gemstone, but if you've got them, there are a few other champions as well, like Marius is good with this. Carnage is good. A couple of free champions, albeit late game champions or end game even, but very strong with this as well. The some of these are not bad as well. So like piercing strike's pretty good. Attacking prowess is pretty good as well. Pierce defenses is great for just PvE on a budget. A lot more damage. Well, look, for this, Necro defense would probably be his best option. Parting Gift is a decent budget option as well, some cooldown reduction. And then I probably, for me, I don't think I have any good gems. So I'm probably going to give him just Unburdened, which isn't great, but just to slot that into his Wand of Submission for now. And yeah, that's sort of it. Not much to hear that's too good, honestly. Power Reset's not bad. Chance to decrease his skill cooldown when his HP drops low. It's not terrible. So yeah, there you are. Survival speed's not terrible. There's some okay stuff there. But yeah, you get the gist, broadly speaking, for that. Wand of Submission, most of the time. You know, he's probably one of the highest priority champs to get your wand because he can win entire fights, but he's so wrecked by crowd control. For the blessings, I've highlighted 3 over here. I can cover even a few more. Lightning Cage is typically what you're going for. Again, for Arena, that chance to protect your buffs is so good. An extra 75% chance to protect Stone Skin, to protect this Stone Skin, to protect Unkillable. It's insane. The defensive benefits from this are just crazy. So this to stop them removing those really good buffs, this to protect him from crowd control, and much like a Nice and stuff like that, it becomes this thing of how the hell do I deal with this guy? That's sort of the gist right there. I think Soul Reap is kind of fun, especially for wave content. So, you know, for, again, Faction Wars hard. Imagine him in a Stormcaller with Soul Reap. He's going to be ripping stuff apart. That's pretty cool. For general PvE, I think at a lower blessing, Heaven Cast is good as well. You're going to be running quite a few buffs on him. I mean, he brings a few buffs just on his A2. He's bringing increased defense on kill but counterattack. He gets 3 just by himself. So Heaven Cast is a nice but small damage boost that is good for general PvE. At 6 stars, of course, you would go for Crushing Rend. This will likely give you overkill ignore defense if you're running him with the turtles, but it will make his A1 hit a lot harder. If you're running fewer turtles, it'll make him hit way harder as well. Crushing Rend, 6 star for PvE, pretty well established. And yeah, I'd say they would, broadly speaking, be the biggest things. I mean, potentially at 6 star, there's some Word of the Fallen play. Potentially some Life Harvest play. Polymorph at 6 star, maybe. Cracking Roots could be interesting, but I think, again, 99% of you should just be going Wand of Submission, Lightning Cage. Simple enough, really. For his Masteries, I have gone like this. I think, you know, you could go Deterrence. You could go for Methodical. I might even drop Deterrence to pick up Methodical, just to up his A1 damage. Haven't quite decided. I do quite like Grim Resolve on him, 5% more damage when he's low on HP, because he's got, though, again, Unkillable and Stone Skin below 50% HP. 2 ways to keep himself alive, and Donatello helps as well. A couple of different ways to trigger this. Shield Breaker is good, and maybe more general. Heart of Glory is good as well, so it's sort of up to you. I've opted for Ruthless Ambush for just the massive single nuke over Whirlwind of Death, but you could go for Whirlwind of Death if you want. But fairly typical stuff, really. Nothing too exceptional. Like I said, the big one for me that I'm debating is, do I go for Deterrence or do I go for this? You could also go for Cycle of Revenge instead of Retribution if you wanted. That could be decent as well. Get him some more turn meter. That's not too bad. So I think there's a few different options there. But broadly speaking, all falling in the same sort of category. And in terms of building, I think we've covered pretty much everything. We now need to talk about the other 3 turtles. But I think he's particularly good for dungeons. With a good team, you can do all dungeons with all the turtles. Might do a video on that for fun. And obviously in the dungeons, you can sub in a 5th team member. I'd be looking at someone like a Elva Autumnborn, Rector Drath even as an epic. Basically a tanky reviver who can keep your turtles alive. Weaken champion if you're strong, because they don't have weaken, but Mikey brings decrease defense and he can debuff spread. So a weakened champion can be good to up their damage even more. And similarly for clan bosses, probably looking at a reviver. Weakened champion's quite nice as well. But arena is where they're going to be exceptionally strong. We'll do a few little arena fights right here. Let's take a look. We've got a few tricky ones for sure. I definitely find Gizmak is pretty rough to deal with. We'll do a couple of fights. So, quick tips for using the turtles. Well, for using Leonardo in general, number one, I'd say Leo, alongside Donatello, are the two that are probably the most viable without any other turtles. Leo does really well, obviously, with more turtles, but it's not essential. Here we go. We're going to buff up. Cool. We're going to start nuking them. Let's see how we do here. I don't think, again, you can see Raphael, he's died, but we didn't get that trigger. Here we go with Leo. We've got the stone skin. We're going to get boosted damage. I mean, look at that. We did a weak hit there. Maybe that was a Zibia Servitude or something, and we hit him for 150,000 damage. Just crazy damage. We see Leo rip through this team, just as an example. What we're going to want to do, Gizmak pretty good against him. This is going to be your general order for the team for the turtles when you're using the four together. Leo in the front, Raphael second, Mikey third, and Donatello fourth. The main reason for this is not because Leo's aura is particularly insane, though it's obviously very good. The main reason is actually Donatello's passive. When an ally is about to receive a fatal hit, he prevents their death, keeps them alive, and equalizes their HP to the average level of the team. That is the reason that we set up this order, and also partly the turtle ally attacks. So, if let's say all three of these turtles die from a hit, Donatello's passive will save whoever is in the front. So it will save Leo if Leo's going to die. If Leo's fine but Raphael dies, it will save him. And then if both of them are fine and Mikey dies, it will save him. But we want to get it on the highest priority. The highest priority is Leo, right? Again, remember, Leo can be killed in a single hit. You can, like, if I build my Leo in Stone Skin, right? If Donatello's not there, I could come in with like an Eilil or a He-Man or somebody else with Ignore Stone Skin, and I could one-shot the Leo and he would just die, right? Stone Skin won't save him, or like he won't trigger this passive. He won't be saved if someone just one-shots him. That's where the Donatello passive comes in. The Donatello passive can keep Leo alive and then let Leo trigger his Stone Skin passive to stay alive and prepare him for doing crazy damage. So that's perfect. Raphael is really good damage as well, so we'd like to keep him alive over Mikey. Mikey's the least important turtle in this team, but he can do some sneaky stuff with his taunt and his evades and his damage and debuff spreading. He's not too bad. He'll do some sneaky stuff, but he's the least important to keep alive. Also, in terms of the turtle ally attacks, Leonardo will go first. He will soften them up, but it doesn't do crazy damage, but it will soften them up. But Raphael's A1 is by far the strongest because of the block revive. That's really good in Arena. So again, we want him high up the turn order to save him semi-frequently with Donatello and to secure some kills. So let's go in against this team and see a couple of fights. But that is rough gist. Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and then Donatello at the back to give the best chance possible. This is a very slow team we're fighting here. We can see I've got a pretty fast Raphael as well. Are they going to revive and nuke us? Maybe. See, Mikey's very tanky. Gizmak is very strong against the turtles. Did you notice something there? Hopefully you noticed something there. This is something to watch out for, and it's Gizmak is strong in a couple of different ways. I'll probably do an entire video on how to counter the turtles. But with Leo, what you just saw happened, Leo went below 50% HP because of Gizmak. He did not trigger his ally attack. He did not trigger a Stone Skin. Why not? It's because it was HP burn. So it seems that things like poisons, probably reflect damage, HP burn, all that sort of stuff will not trigger. Let's fight again. It's a nasty team. Will not trigger his Stone Skin and will not trigger his ally attack. So his Unity attack. So there's definitely conditions with Leo to make to get the most out of him. Now, we look at how I've built my team. Here we've got a little bit problem as well. I've not built enough resistance on Donatello. We got smacked, and I believe Donatello just saved him. And look at this, though. Leo, who's just started, doing absolutely ludicrous damage. Very nice. We've gone in. We've actually killed him. Lovely. We've block revived on her. She's brought everyone back in. Oh, he's gone in with the seismic slam. This could get kind of nasty. I think we might die. Oh, never mind. We're still okay. But this nice might kill us here. Yeah, and you can see he did one-shot the Leo right there. So we got a little bit wrecked, and we are going to die. So we saved Raphael, but then the rest of us died. We did get taken down by that particular team. Yeah, how have I geared these other turtles? I've got Raphael right now in reaction and 6-piece Merciless. But I do think that he might be better. Actually, Raphael might be better. This should trigger. Boom. Oh my god, look at that. They put Raphael below half health. Even his counterattacks are doing massive damage. Oh man. He might be better in Swift Parry. Why? Again, we go back to Leo's passives, or his Unity passive. Swift Parry Raphael is quite nice. If you let Raphael drop low, and he gets saved 50% of the time, and again, you're going to be trying to set up these sneaky traps for your arena defense and offense. 50% chance to get unkillable. So he would drop low, die, get unkillable, and then because he survived on 1 hit point, that would activate Leo's Unity attack, which is cool. Whereas if he just dies straight up, you don't get anything. Okay, cool. I think the Swift Parry might also prevent Donatello from using up his passive, which could be kind of nice. Now, Raphael, if he does his A3, he can get unkillable as well, which is super good. If he has unkillable, he can drop low but not die, which again will trigger Leo. Really nice. So that's what's going on there. Let me show you the turtles, how I've built them. So as I said, at the moment, Raphael, for me, I've got him 6 Merciless and double reaction. I even have a build, and I'm definitely considering swapping him into Swift Parry for that extra chance. We'll lose a lot of Raphael damage, but we'll gain a lot of Leonardo damage. Unfortunately, the only thing I have for him right now is a Gore Crescent, which is good, but not amazing. He's probably best in a Wand of Submission as well. Potentially a damage relic if you go Swift Parry so you can actually kill people is good too. My Michelangelo, I've got him in 4 Stone Skin, 4 lethal, but he's probably not crazy important. Like you could, I think it's good to build him as a sneaky backup damage dealer because he can survive with his evade, which is quite, he's got a 30% chance to evade damage. He's getting a shield. He can be very sneaky and keep you alive. And his leech debuff is really good. You do want accuracy. If he can land his leech debuff and you heal your turtles back above 50%, you can then trigger Leonardo's stuff again when they drop below 50. It's really, really nice. I've got him set up like this. And then Donatello, this is, I think it's going to be a linchpin of your turtle teams. So number 1, what happens if they just bomb you? You're just going to die, right? We're building a lot of these turtles in stone skin. They're just going to die. So Donatello, unfortunately, having a 5-star soul for him is going to have a pretty big impact because you're going to want to build high resistance. I've got mine 700 right now, and I think that's a little bit low. For me, I'd love to be pushing more like 800 plus. 700's a bit low. Donatello can protect you from 2 different counters. Number 1, he can protect you from bombs, unless they're Commodus. But he can protect you from bombs by removing all debuffs from all allies. Very, very nice. He can also protect you from being locked out by champions like Fabian by using his A2 Shell Shocker. To do these 2 things, he has to not die from bombs himself and not get locked out himself. So high resistance is the best way to do it, but you're obviously going to be in massive danger from any teams that run increased accuracy. You're going to be in massive danger from Commodus or Mythicals who ignore resistance. It's just kind of rough. But yeah, for him, for my gearing, just to give you an idea of something I'm trying, is 4 Stone Skin and 4 Feral, which is going to protect him from most things. And if he has Lightning Cage as well, if that protects those buffs, great. He, again, can protect him from bombs, and he can remove the bombs from the team. Or remove any other debuffs and just try to keep him alive. I've got an aspect of Sephiroth on him right now. The idea, again, is to try keep Donatello alive so his passive can protect us. That's the rough gist of what's going on here. But it is a bit tricky. I do think you could run... He's actually very good with the Stars of Jinang. That resistance, main stat mythical relic is stupidly OP on several characters. Very good for him. A main stat resistance relic might be a good idea. I'm trying out the aspect of Sephiroth. You could always just run a Wand of Submission on all of these turtles. He's got Essence Quencher. Why does he have it? Because I put it on and I don't have an, like a month ago, and I don't have enough Starstone to take it off. That's why he's got Essence Quencher. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. But I'm not able to take it off. But yeah, I think this is broadly speaking. We'll see more iterations of the turtle team, I think, as we go. And I will do a video on countering them because they can be really rough when they get going. But let's just see a couple of fights and you can get a bit of a gist for what's going on. Here we go. So we've all buffed up. We are very vulnerable to buff removal. This is where the Lightning Cage buffs, when they trigger, are going to be so important. So important. But yeah, here you can see a lot of our buffs are removed. We're smacking them, but we're in danger now. And yeah, we actually, look at that. He's actually just ripped through us. The turtles very much struggle against block damage, certainly on full auto, right? Block damage and unkillable buffs will be very good against them. I don't have lightning cage for Raphael. I've got no blessing, so he's vulnerable to having his buff stolen. Let's try against this team right here. We'll just hit a couple of different teams and just give you an idea. I think this 4-turtle team is sneaky good, though. Like, look at that. They pushed Raphael. They didn't kill him, though. And Leo just, like, basically one-shot their entire team. Now, yeah, sure, they revived because of Siegfried, but it put them in a bit of a tough spot. There we go. You see what happened right there? Pretty disgusting. We equalized Raph's HP with Donatello's passive, but then Leo, he got knocked down, and Leo just one-shot them again as well, basically, and removed loads of their buffs. Here we go. And prepare for it. He's ramping. Kaboom. He's hit them all for like 400,000 damage and whatnot. You have to be so careful. So careful fighting against a Leo. Let's do, again, a few tough fights here. Let's see how we do. I'm expecting, actually, we're going to get wrecked on some of these. We will see. Yeah, but there, as I said, there are weaknesses to this team. Again, unfortunately, I just don't have enough resistance. 700 resist, not enough on poor old Donatello right there. Looks like we triggered his passive. So now we're going to get nuked. I think that might have been aspect of Siroth. I'm not 100% sure. Now we're definitely in trouble. Okay, that's good. Oh, look at that. Again, big mistake from him. He's triggered the Leonardo. Now, I think we're still dead. Unfortunately, but I mean, it shows you we came pretty close to just killing them right there with the Leonardo, the A3. They triggered his A3, and yeah, they almost died. No, they didn't, but they almost got there. They almost got there. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll see. I think there's maybe a couple of things we could tweak with this team. At the same time, there's also not that much. Marius is an interesting one. This can either go very well for him or very poorly. It's going to depend a bit. So there we go. We've got our stone skin, but it did get removed. He should just nuke them right now. He's removed some stone skins, but he is in danger. So Marius can be pretty good if the rest of their team are a little bit slower and they get protected. Let's see what's going to happen. We are certainly in danger right now. Yeah, we still have a chance to kill them, though, with just Mikey. This is where Mikey has survived with his taunt and his evades. He might survive. He's still evading, and he's doing some pretty good damage. So here we go. We have a chance here. Unfortunately, he's taking him out. It's going to be not good for us. We're going to die. Pretty close, though. Pretty close against this team. Like I said, I'm not expecting to do too crazy well. Yeah, I don't know. I could edit this video and show you all fights that we win, or I could fight like weaker enemies with weaker champions and make it look really good. But I'm not going to do that here. So here we can see the bombs would be a huge problem for us. But this is where, like, they are just dying, and then we remove that stuff. We are still in quite a lot of danger, though, because of him. We might just die. Party dude. Mikey solos them at the end. So, yeah. As I said, Mikey, he's there. He's not the most important turtle, but he's doing some work. I actually thought we'd lose that one. We'll do a couple more fights. Let's try. Again, we're just looking for some difficult fights so you get a bit of a gist for Leonardo. You can see the strengths and weaknesses of this full turtle team. What I'll do, we'll do it in like live arena as well. I'll probably do a stream maybe on Sunday. We'll do some live arena. There we go. The stone skin, unfortunately, did not get fully protected right there. You can see what happened. So we got the stone skin, but then Mario sort of removed it straight away after. So let's see how we do. The turtle ally attacks are doing work, though. Now we're in a good spot, a very good spot. And actually, Leo just one-shot that guy. Crazy damage right there from Leo. Big damage. Yeah, Marius can be dangerous because he can trigger Leo's passive and then remove it straight away and then kill the Leo through it. And multi-hit attacks are very good as well. Do we have a Gizmac? No. Gizmac I found to be really rough. Gizmac will rip off all their stone skins, and then because he's got a multi-hit attack in his second form, Gizmac will just destroy you as well. The multi-hit attacks will kill you very easily past Donatello's passive and past Leo's passive as well. So watch out for multi-hit attacks. Yeah, look out for bombs can be dangerous. Lockout. Lots of stuff can be dangerous. So it is what it is. But I mean, look at this. Against this mythical Like, pretty crazy team. There we go. The Donatello passive saved Raphael. And we're just starting to rip through some of these folks, which is cool. Bam, he's taken out a Galathier, no problem. Just because. Why would there be a problem? Right, he's going to revive them here. But Leo should have his A3. And if it won't remove any buffs, unfortunately, this time. Now, Raphael, he could finish them off. We believe in you, Raphael. We believe. This is where Raphael is important to deal with the block damage because he has his seismic slam attack. Oh, he did the other move. Okay. Okay, that's fine, I suppose. His seismic slam lets him ignore block damage, but he didn't want to do it. That's fine. We've triggered all the stuff. That was a pretty big hit. We're going to fire off all the counterattacks, but the block damage is really getting in our way. Raphael, show us what you can do, buddy. He doesn't have Berserk, actually, so it won't even work. Unless we kill Galathier here, which is actually quite possible. Didn't happen. We're going to just buff up, protect ourselves on the team again. Gonna be a long old fight, this one. Let's just leave it on auto for now. But I mean, it's kind of crazy here. Oh, there's the Seismic Slam. Decent damage. And yeah, we're picking them off. You can see that these turtles against freaking Shuzen, Galathier, Marishka, and Siegfried, four of the best champions in Arena. They're putting up a really good fight. And this is where some of the block revive starting to come in. That's really strong as well. Galathier's probably just dead. Yep, he's just dead. Actually, Lightning Cage, I think, secure the killing blow past his defensives. Yeah, let's try against a buff removal. Sure, just for the video here. Yeah, it gives you a gist. So there you go, guys. Let me know. How are you building your turtle teams? I do think they're going to be quite strong on siege defense. They've got some strong counters, but I think it's going to be trying to find the clever counterplay to deal with stuff and to get past is going to be a huge part of it. Oh my God. Like, look at it. It's very easy, guys. It's very easy to die against this team by accident. Very easy. We'll try this crazy team as well because that one didn't last long. I think that's the key with the turtle team. Try to be sneaky with you've got like your wands of submission, your lightning cages, Crixia there, weak hit. So we've not been properly locked out. Let's actually manual this just for the funs of it because we can actually reduce our cooldowns and let's actually target Crixia, see if we can kill her off. Well, we've killed her once. We didn't land the block revive though. Decent damage from him. This should not trigger. Again, you can see we triggered that from reflect damage from what's his face? Gallius triggered the Leo and sorry, killed Raphael, pushed him below 50%, and it did not trigger Leo right there. Now that's going to trigger Leo. Boom. And like pretty crazy, right? It's not perfect. You saw this team get hard wrecked sometimes, but when it works, it works. This team power is 1.2 million. Yeah? When it works really, really well. And that is, I think, what the turtles are about. So lightning cages, wands of submission, consider things like feral set, swift parry, aspect of Siroth, maybe last laugh amulets, any of this sneaky stuff to keep just adding layers of RNG, have your team stay alive, get the key stuff off at the right time, a really high resistance Donatello, and then potentially Leo will just start annihilating enemy teams. Raphael maybe lands a block revive or two. Bada bing, bada boom. It can be very strong. I'll do a whole other video on how to counter them. It's going to be a big theme of Siege. I've put them up as my arena defense in Siege. I put them up as my classic arena defense as well. How's it doing? We lost one, but my God, there's a lot of victories right there. People are trying and people are struggling. We definitely got to do the Counter the Turtles video, but there you go. That is Leo, how to build him, and a rough guide as well on a turtle team to maximize that faction unity stuff. More videos coming soon. Like I said, I'll probably try. I'm away all tomorrow, busy playing Dungeons and Dragons with my sister and her husband, etc. So yeah, I'm away tomorrow. But Sunday, maybe I might get time later today, maybe. Actually, maybe I could do a live arena session and schedule it. Maybe we'll do that. Stay tuned. We'll do some live arena with the turtles as a video. I'll see you next time. Good luck with your Leo, and goodbye.